So Chris, I am so excited. Our big main event of the evening. Brutal is back. Jake Bostwick, but Costello Van Steenis, another man that can just take you out.
Malcolm, these are two individuals who have been in some crazy fights. These two guys can bang. They both bring a lot of utilizable skills to the table. Jake Bostwick, what more is there to say?
Well, Chris, I've had the pleasure, as you know, of commentating on this young man since he was 19. But at 19, he was still at the highest level. He came straight in there.
But he earned that nickname Brutal. And I have every feeling with his prediction of a first-round knockout, he's going to go in there to show the epitome of that name tonight. Vicious kickboxing, brilliant hands, straight punches, and defensive wrestling. The guy can avoid submissions too, as we've seen in previous performances. But then there's Costello Van Steenis, unbeaten. This young man from Vlaardingen in the Netherlands has a very unique ability to finish his opponents no matter where the fight goes. He's overcome adversity before, a vicious choke game, in particular the triangle, which we've seen in his recent performances. Being a Dutchman, he can also kickbox, Malcolm. I think both men believe they're going to be able to finish early. It could be round of the year or fight of the year. I know one thing's for sure, we're going to have a fitting capstone for Phoenix tonight in the main event.
Ladies and gentlemen, we get ready for the main event of the evening. This is a professional MMA title bout for the Phoenix MMA Middleweight Champion of the World. Please welcome your first contender, Costello Van Steenis.
Main event time for the world title here at Phoenix. And into the blue corner, Costello Van Steenis, undefeated from the Netherlands, Chris.
Hailing from Vlaardingen with 5 crazy finishes, including the last 2 by a triangle choke. A man unbeaten in his pro and amateur career. A real treat to have here in Phoenix tonight. A man who has dazzled the crowd with his skills and has always found a way to get out on top. You can't bet against the Dutchman, Malcolm.
Now, Chris, known for submissions, but you said look for the Dutch-style kickboxing in his game as well.
He's got some unorthodox techniques. The spinning back fist, sometimes using the Superman punch to incite the clinch. So he's going to need all the tools on his belt tonight against Jake Bostwick, a man who is very dangerous on the feet. But he came in really big at the weigh-ins. He's rehydrated very, very well. He's gained at least 7 kilos or so. So he's going to be able to match Jake in the size, certainly have an advantage in the reach, and of course the power territory.
Yes, as you said. And you like the fact that he's also a thinking fighter. You've mentioned the fact that he will often bait his opponents to get where he wants to be. What do you mean by that, Chris?
In the scrambles, you'll often find a little bit of space to commit to a submission, and he'll use that to either finish the fight or escape or end up in a top position. So he's got great attacking jiu-jitsu for MMA. It starts on the feet. He's been working on the stand-up. He is everything you want in a main event fighter. Let's go back to Buddy Johnson.
And his opponent, please welcome Jake Bostwick.
Well, there's one thing I can guarantee you. When this young man is in the house, it gets brutal, Chris.
Jake Bostwick, and B-R-U-T-A-L is the key. Crazy KO power in the hands and feet. Loves to push the pace. Really improved on his footwork and his game planning in the ring. And in my opinion, is one of the most dangerous men, pound for pound, in the United Kingdom.
Now, one thing, we've had the privilege of commentating on him. He never knows when he's out. He's on a 9-fight win streak, but one of those fights, no man had the right to survive, let alone win.
It was mental, the last fight around at York Hall. Best fight I've called ever, full stop. But over the last 5 years, Jake Bostwick has really evolved as a fighter. He's really improved in his wrestling, offensively, defensively. He's got impeccable submission defense. I mean, he was nearly tapped out with an arm lock, nearly choked, but always finds a way to scramble out. I love how this guy has grown as a fighter. You've been calling his fights since he was 19, and just a few years has really improved to be the creme de la creme of this division.
Chris, he was thrown in at the deep end at the highest level at 19, and he started knocking them out then. As you said, he had the period when obviously it got tough, but he's come back even stronger. And when you're going to hug two guys in your corner, it's not bad to be Kieran Kedle and Brad Pickett.
Or Mickey Pappas.
And Mickey Pappas there as well. Wow.
Or his father. His father's always there with him. They're very, very close. Jake feels that this is going to be his round in a big way. He predicts a huge KO. Costello also believes he's going to be able to take him out quickly. I know one thing for sure, it's going to be at least round of the year and maybe a contender for fight of the year.
Oh yes, Chris, we can't wait for this one. Everybody has been talking about this here tonight.
And we'll go over to Mr. Buddy Johnson, our master of ceremonies here at Phoenix, and make it all official.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bout is sponsored by Cars to Go. When the action begins, your judges are Ed Austin, Martin Blackburn, and Kevin Koppel, with our commentators Chris Hoekstra and Malcolm Martin. When the action begins, your referee in charge, Trevor Chamberlain. And now, ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. 3 5-minute rounds of MMA action in the professional middleweight division. Warrior versus warrior, gladiator versus gladiator, to crown Phoenix MMA's middleweight champion of the world. Our fighters are ready, our judges and officials are ready. Ladies and gentlemen in attendance this evening, make some noise if you're ready! Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. He weighed in at 84.4 kilograms and has a flawless record of 6 wins with no losses and no draws, with 4 of those wins by submission. Representing MMA of Vladingen all the way from the Netherlands, he is the Spaniard, Costello Van Steenis. And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, weighed in at 84.25 kilograms and has an impressive record of 6 wins, 8 losses and 0 draws, with 8 of those wins by TKO. Representing Team Titan and Double K from London, England, Jake Brutal Bostwick. When the action begins, your referee in charge, Trevor Chamberlain.
So Chris, this is it. I can hardly wait. There's going to be a huge height difference, but that doesn't mean anything in terms of power. And look at the stare down.
Both of these men could not wait to get to this moment, whether it was yesterday or 4 weeks ago in the media. Itching to go at it. We are now ready for our main event. Chris Hoekstra with Malcolm Martin on the call. It's Bostwick versus Van Steenis.
And as you said, the size difference, Bostwick moving up to meet Van Steenis, but we know the power is in both men's hands. And we've got to say the more experienced is Bostwick. As I said, since 19, he's been at this level.
Costello Van Steenis backs away from the kick. He knows that right kick is coming. Bostwick goes southpaw, very interesting. Possibly to set up a lead right hook. But he's showing the takedown, which is key to make Costello respect that threat. The wrestling room at Titan is one of the best in the country.
Yes, I mean, in terms of coaching, you couldn't ask more for Bostwick when you look at the people in this corner, as we said when they were coming in. At the peak at the moment, and I think this, his sternest test, could also be his greatest night.
And Bostwick swaps stances there. Again, possibly to set up the takedown. Swing and a miss from Van Steenis. Lunges in, whoa!
Yes, faked with the hands, went for the single leg, Bostwick aware, and the first test of strength between these two men. Looks to his corner calmly.
And look at the way Bostwick spreads his legs, distributes his weight a little more evenly. Van Steenis picks the ankle away like glue. Van Steenis has got to stay very tight and use his head here. Great pressure from Van Steenis early.
Looked for the short right hand, but missed as well. Bostwick back to his feet.
Bostwick has to avoid being put down early when Van Steenis has got grip and control. Bostwick doing the right thing here, though, with a nice deep right overhook. He's actually touching to Van Steenis' chest.
Oh, took a knee to the midsection there.
Bostwick using his head to try to create space and throws a knee in. Van Steenis felt that one. You could see the way he flinched there. He's not showing it, but he definitely felt that power.
Oh, and then the knee to the inner thigh as well from Bostwick.
And a lesser man right now would have stayed down, but Bostwick is so explosive. The moment he hit the mat, he went back up. Huge left hook for Bostwick.
Yes, Denise, his nose is bloodied. It's annoying him from that early exchange, but the knee, and then, as you said, the explosive punching. Good kick to the midsection, and Bostwick says, bring it on. Good sprawl as well. What a start to this one.
Fast tips from Bostwick. Head outside, single for Van Steenis. Bostwick pummels in.
And Chris, Van Steenis has started out his stall early. He's desperate to get this man to canvas, isn't he?
Absolutely. You look at his track record with those submission wins, he knows he's got to get down there quick.
Bostwick looks to his corner again, blood flowing freely from his nose.
And he's controlling with that front headlock position, reaches in for an underhook to try to spin Van Steenis away. Van Steenis is being patient, staying driven and committed here. I like how Bostwick's controlling with that wrist and then drops the elbow. Exactly what I thought he was going to do.
To the side of the head. And then the short left-hand punches to the exposed face of Van Steenis.
Bostwick looks again to his corner. Van Steenis got to watch his face.
He's adamant he wants that single leg, Chris. He's refusing to give it up. Now it's the double leg, and he goes for it again, and Bostwick resists once more. Just how much will this take out of the two of them?
Difficult to say. Only Costello knows how much energy he's exerting right now. He's definitely staying very tight and pinning Bostwick up against the edge of the ring. And that cuts down Bostwick's ability to scramble.
As I said, the nose of Bostwick freely flowing with blood now.
Bostwick using that 100%er there to try to turn Costello away. Look at that. Beautiful work from Jake Bostwick.
Looking for the underhooks as well. It's a real test of strength against this cage.
Attacking the inside thighs. Both men with the right leg. Van Steenis now head inside, using that gable grip. Bostwick bleeding profusely, Malcolm.
Yes, and it is annoying him. He's conscious of it, for sure. And as you said, Van Steenis has been relentless in his approach, Chris. He's like a dog after that buried bone, isn't he?
He has to be. And on the back already now, Jake Bostwick, hand fighting. Not much time left, though. But Van Steenis has controlled this first round.
Chris, you mentioned about rehydration and the weigh-in and the size. Is the difference making a difference here?
I can't quite tell because Van Steenis certainly has had a few chances to get this one down. Wow! Huge choke attempt from Van Steenis. Bostwick turns in. Van Steenis looks for the back. Bostwick chucks a right hand at the bell.
Wow, what a finish.
Man, what a round. What a round. Bostwick was definitely thrown into adverse conditions. Van Steenis locked up that choke. Bostwick turned away at the end of the fight, but Van Steenis certainly able to dictate the pace and, more importantly, control the space.
Let's pick up on that, Chris. He set out his stall from the opening seconds and went for that single leg and refused to give up on it. And at the end of the day, Jake spent so much of that opening round with his back against the cage, stopping the takedown attempts. So it was a real power play by Van Steenis, and it exploded into life in the very last 10 seconds. So Chris, Jake Bostwick surely won't want to have his back to that cage for so long in this second round.
I think he's got to let the jab go. He's got to lower his stance a bit and make sure he does not have the ring cut off. His coach is encouraging to let those flurries begin. You can see already a lot more shoulder movement from Bostwick. And wait for the flurries of those hands. Wait for the barrage. Van Steenis can afford to kick a lot here because he knows Bostwick ain't going to go to the ground.
And put it in perspective, how close was he to the finish in that last 10 seconds against Jake?
Well, it was in. Bostwick defended, though, and turned away. So Jake did exactly the right thing. Again, it's very difficult to submit that guy. He's got a neck like a gorilla, though. Vicious inside leg for Jake
on the
Bostwick.
hooks. This is what he needs immediately.
And the brutal one gets smacked with a left high kick. Good coverage, though. That one didn't land clean. But even though when you're covering with your arms, it can still hit.
Oh, there's the right hand. Van Steenis is locked. He's locked. He goes instinctively to clinch up. The power of Bostwick comes through there, Chris.
Mental. Bostwick has got serious fisticuffs there. Van Steenis is still grimacing from that. You could hear the smack and feel the aftershock.
Chris, he was rocked, but the warrior he is, he instinctively tied up. It was the right thing to do. Putting pressure again. He's going for that single leg once more. But the dangers both men show have been clearly emphasized here in the second round.
Like I said, you cannot bet against the Dutchman. Watch for those elbows or punches, though. Just 2 or 3 of those could change the entire course of the fight. Jake back to the 100%er. But the base is a little bit narrow for Jake. And if Costello lowers himself a little bit more, he can get him down.
And as you said that, he just drops the knees, Costello. Looking for it. Bostwick bringing brutal right hands through the channel to the face of Van Steenis.
That's exactly what I was talking about. Van Steenis has to protect his chin. But Bostwick's certainly having some trouble with the takedown offense of Van Steenis. Look at that. That changed into Steenis' entire posture. Costello Van Steenis unable to maintain that position because Jake Bostwick was actually brutalizing it with his left hand. Now his right hand.
And with the success he's had, you know that Bostwick will want to get this to the center of the cage again.
He's doing the right thing of stuffing his head. Watch for Jake to explode out of here in a moment. But Van Steenis makes the right adjustment and raises his level a little bit. And now he's going to try to dump and spin Bostwick away and run the pipe here.
He is relentless in his approach to this takedown, isn't he? He must be super confident that once he gets Bostwick there, it's his game.
Jake showing some supreme athleticism here, though, in resisting this.
Big knee to the midsection of Van Steenis in defense as well. Picking up on your point, Chris, his defense has been devastating.
Absolutely. Always making you pay.
Shot elbow suddenly from Van Steenis. Explodes with the elbow.
A little elbow like that can also be devastating. And this is going to be an interesting paradigm on the judges' scorecards, whether or not you score the offensive pressure and control of Van Steenis or the defensive counters and punching of Bostwick.
And suddenly Bostwick has good position here, Chris.
He's floating on him really nicely. This is really bad news for Costello Van Steenis. Tries to invert for the leg. Jake winds out now in half guard, drags his leg out. Excellent defense from Jake.
Vicious kick as well. Chris, as you said, this second round, such transitions and both men having their moments. This is really boiling up now.
And Jake has really had to dig deep here and pay attention to all of the details.
Those heavy right hands crashing through again, and then the elbow to the side of Costello's face.
Costello able to really adjust his head at a lot of the last moments of those strikes coming in and avoid a lot of the damage. They've been skimming across the crown of his head, but they're landing. Vicious stuff from Bostwick again.
Chris, looking over the 2 rounds in total now from what we've had here.
Oh, knee bar attempt from Van Steenis. This looks really tight. This looks really, really tight. Jake has got to be very, very careful here. You can see the pain. Oh, and he stuffs by pushing out on Costello Van Steenis' knee to get out of there. That was really nasty.
As we said, Chris, this man never knows when he's beaten.
And Jake continues now to hand fight here. Gotta watch out for the knees.
Yes, Costello
hits the switch. Spins around, crab ride again from the back for Jake Bostwick.
Oh, what a second round. What turnaround. And I was going to say to you, across the 2 rounds, what do you think of Costello's tactic? Has it been right? Has he got enough success to keep staying with that tactic?
Well, he's definitely pressured the takedown. He's definitely threatened Jake. He certainly attempted submissions again in round 2, much like he did in round 1. But Bostwick keeps hitting him, kneeing him, punching him, elbowing him. It's a compelling style matchup, and it's everything we expected from this fight in the main event tonight in Phoenix.
Unbelievable stuff, Chris. I agree with you totally. This has been non-stop, and the contrasting styles have just worked in our favor.
Absolutely. And Jake still bleeding profusely from his nose. The corner going to work on that right now. He looks like he's still breathing pretty comfortably. I was worried about his cardio early because Costello really pressed the pace. Costello looks very comfortable though there on the round as well.
Chris. He looks so fit and healthy. But we saw the moments when Bostwick is so dangerous. There was a moment during that second round where Costello rocked from the left and right hooks of Bostwick.
This is going to be a crazy round 3. I'm curious to see which one of them is able to push the pace first.
Seconds up.
And Bostwick looked to his corner and he said, I'm fine, I'm fine. He was nodding to them going, yeah, I'm up for this.
The blood all over the brutal one. Van Steenis looking still loose, calm and collected. Round 3, a touch of gloves.
Oh, this has been superb. And is there another stinging the tail yet here for our main event? Spinning hook kick from Steenis. Bostwick just skips out of the way. And this is what he's after, but immediately Van Steenis reacts to the hook, and we're back to square one with that single leg attempt, well, double leg attempt, I think, this time from Van Steenis.
Jake with the figure 4. He's got a Kimura counter here, but he's probably going to use that for control. I would not expect Jake to drop for that.
And again, Van Steenis willing to take those little punches to get where he needs to be.
This is huge early. Costello pressuring the grappling. Jake now maneuvers away from the fence. Much better for Jake here.
And again, he's slipperier, isn't he, as well, because it's the third round here.
Look at the way Costello gets on him right after the striking exchange. He doesn't allow Jake time to move. He doesn't allow Jake time to get back to the center of the ring.
A predetermined game plan?
Absolutely. Costello again, head inside now, very conscious that Jake is going to punch him and hit him.
And Jake, as you said, maneuvering to get that angle, and then suddenly turns it around. Costello going for him again.
Jake knew exactly not to start striking because Costello was going to duck under those hands. Jake did a great job there of actually wrestling first and now striking second. He's got that right leg across his back leg. That crab ride is nasty.
And Chris, I want to pick up something that you've told me over many shows, how different this game becomes when the men are slippery here in the third round.
Absolutely. Both men have expended a ton of energy in this bout. Jake now on top in full guard. Got to be very, very careful because Costello has always got the submissions off his back. Look at that triangle right away. But Jake stuffs it. Huge punches for Jake Brutal Bostwick.
Looking to land them again. Powering in that right hand. He's been more effective in stopping this takedown attempt in this third round, hasn't he?
100%. And Costello's in a bad position. Still a lot of time on the clock here. Cheeky back elbow from Costello, but he's got to get out of here.
Yes, he's constantly thinking, constantly working, but Bostwick again looking for that brutal knee to the midsection.
Whoa!
Oh, what a turnaround from Costello Van Steenis, looking to lock Bostwick up, but again, it's a different game in the third round here, Chris.
Incredible, he rolled right through that. One arm in for Bostwick. Level change, and the shot, no surprises from Van Steenis. Excellent sprawl from Bostwick in the counter.
And again, the elbows, and he looks for the knees to the midsection of Van Steenis.
This has been a really tough fight for both men. Both having to really, look at that, Costello drops back. He's so confident in his guard. He's finished a number of opponents by catching them with that triangle, but gonna be very hard to finish when Jake looks up and postures out like he does.
Look for the jumping kick to the face of Bostwick. They're feeling the pace now. Mutual respect here. Bostwick with the heavy hook.
Leaps in for that one. I think Bostwick's got to get back up here. Why is he staying with Costello on the ground? Because this could be the danger.
And as you said, one of the things you mentioned about Costello is that luring you in, baiting you to get where he wants to be, and he's shown signs of this right across the 3 rounds.
Trying to stuff that arm. Jake staying very heavy and pinning those shoulders. Nice left elbow over the top. That's ground and pound 101. Control your man and then land the strike.
And again, I think across this third round, you could make a case across the whole third round so far for the tactics of Bostwick.
So incredible. What a display. I think he's done a lot better job of shutting down Van Steenis. Again, Van Steenis throws the triangle up, Jake shrugs it off.
And that's what he's done throughout this round very successfully, hasn't he?
Absolutely.
And once he shrugged it off, those little punches, those knees, those kicks.
He's really nullified Costello, and he's had to really dig deep and use his wrestling base. Not much time left in this round. Jake Bostwick looking to land the bombs, but the triangle up again for Van Steenis.
And again, he slips out. It's a different game here in the third round. And Bostwick has frustrated every attempt by Costello. And is there still time for some heavy, oh, I say some heavy hooks, and it was the uppercut from Costello in close.
Bostwick now having to give up his back to turn away from that attempt.
10
Time
seconds
runs out.
left, Chris, 10 seconds left. Do you know what? It was that uppercut from Costello.
Wheel kick from Van Steenis to
What
end the round.
What about?
What a great fight. An outstanding fight from these two.
And you can make a case for either man. I would not want to be the judge on this one.
It's been a great fight. I feel like overall, Van Steenis was more effective in the first and a little bit in the second, and really pressuring Jake, controlling Jake, forcing Jake against the fence and dominating some positional control.
Third round, a different thing, wasn't it?
Definitely, but on the flip side, Jake probably landed more strikes, certainly more elbows and hammer fists from those grappling positions. And Jake was able to defend and nullify as the fight went on, those grappling little wars of attrition that Van Steenis was able to bring forth. So we're gonna go to the judges' scorecards and we'll see how they see it in our main event tonight here in Bournemouth.
Oh, wow.
Can we have our sponsors from Cars to Go to Cage Side? Cars to Go to Cage Side. Ladies and gentlemen, with all the energy you have left, please, big, huge round of applause to both fighters this evening. Come on. A truly epic main event. 3 exciting rounds. And we go to our judges' scorecards. All 3 judges' scores about 29-28 to declare your winner by unanimous decision and new Phoenix MMA middleweight champion of the world, in the red corner, Jake Brutal!